My father called me, at that time I was here 2 months before the fight. His advice helped me out so much because for me it was not just that it mattered. It was actually the most important thing for me back then, just to know my father's reaction, how he was taking everything that was happening, because there was just so much media coverage. So I knew my father was watching. It was important for me to know his take. I'd call and ask, and my father would even tell me things I hadn't even asked him about. He'd bring it up on his own. Because the way it is with us, between me and my father, in our traditions, in our part of the world, in our family for generations, in our village, there's just always this distance with your father. Like when you walk in, there are just so many things you can't let yourself do in front of your father. You have to be sort of like a soldier in front of a general, right? If you can even make that comparison, if a soldier stands at attention like that, then with us, it's even stricter. Like even just to give an example here, for instance, imagine you're a father sitting there, right? And your 2-year-old kid walks up to you and wants to play with you. You can't even do that baby talk thing with your own kid.
You don't have that kind of friendship.
It's a friendship, but
It's different, yes.
there's a certain distance that you must keep around your father. You always have to be completely buttoned up.
Yeah.
You have to stand like a soldier in front of your father. You don't let your emotions take over. At that point, just to know what my father thought, who was all the way across the ocean, who couldn't just fly out and be there to support his son and just be there by my side. But for me, since he didn't have a visa, I just had to know exactly what he thought. I didn't care what anyone else thought. I didn't care about the opinions of millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions watching this fight. I only ever cared about one person and his take, what he thought and what he'd say to me. But I couldn't call him and say, "Father, what do you think about this?" Well, we never had that.
Well, you had to wait.
I would just call and wait to hear what he'd say. And my father, he knew exactly where to draw the line because he was in the exact same position with his own father since his own father was still around. And then he had a son too, right? And he understood me, how I felt about him, since his relationship with his own father was the same way. And in that sense, back then, my father really kept me grounded mentally. He even told me something once. Do you know how diamonds are actually made under great pressure?
Mm-hmm.
He says you're under great pressure and you have a choice. You can break down and give up, or you can get through it all. Properly, clearly, with dignity. Go in, prepare right, make weight, recover. Go in, win, and settle it once and for all. And those exact kinds of moments, they deeply impacted me.
So because of those words, you could cut everything off.
Yeah.
Focus.
Well,
mentally,
if 1 million people showed up right there and told me right outside where I was staying at the hotel, right? If 1 million people gathered right under my window and said, "Hey, we've got your back." And honestly, just one call from my father, it wouldn't even compare. Because that one call from my father, that one piece of advice, his support, his voice, it charged me up way more than absolutely everything else combined.